pop culture. Everything is permitted.
Welcome to episode 107 of Everything is Permitted here at Wade's Comic Madness. I am your captain and host, Julian Brown, alongside my co-host, the Man of Steel, Matt Reppert, and the Master of Puns, Brittany Tomes. How we doing?
I'm calling the Oompa Loompas.
Oompa Loompa Doopity-doo. I have another riddle.
There is something when we get to that movie, by the way, and obviously, if I'm sure people
there's
know
a lot to unpack.
Well, no, but there's something that came into my head having experienced this movie recently now, because it's something that I've wondered, and I'm gonna write down a note just so I don't forget.
Oh,
Okay,
Matt's
good.
actually
Can't
writing.
wait.
I like this.
Oh, God.
If you haven't figured it out yet, we are going to be taking a look back at the classic 1971 film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It is 50 years old as of June 13th, I believe.
That
Do they
is
still
so.
sell Wonka bars in stores? I feel like it's only
They do.
nerds now.
No, but like I
do?
think you can get Wonka in some places in the U.S. and it's very prevalent over in the U.K. So
Yeah,
you can
because
go.
I used to like it in the Wonka bars and stuff. It was
Were
fun.
you looking for your golden ticket?
Oh, no. I don't have hope like Charlie. Are you kidding me?
All right, Kevin Durant, hit it.
Oh, it got
fail.
stuck on my finger too long.
That was
I
like the
felt it.
Union last night.
Oh.
Shots on goal, but not.
Shots fired.
That was a. Oof.
So yeah, we're going to talk about Willy Wonka, take a retro look at that film, and then we're also going to wrap up season 1 of The Bad Batch as Kamino comes under siege. Yeah, and then we're also going to do some quick odds and ends, taking a look at the final trailer for Marvel's The Eternals. But before we get to our show and all the fun stuff, Matt, who do we have to thank? Our awesome EIP VIPs.
We have to thank Billy Peets, Heather Reppert, Rob Migliaccio, Michael Cox, Nikki Veazey, Matt Moore, Cabria Wimbush, Rob Carter, Connor McClinton, and Nick Castellano.
Whoop, whoop.
Woo woo. Woo. Thank you all. And yeah, if you guys do want to become an EIP VIP and support our show, head on over to everythingispermitted.com and click on that Patreon tab. And if you can't support us financially, as always, please head to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. It helps get our show out to more people. And we,
like and share and steal all our dank memes.
yeah, steal those dank memes.
I love it. I love seeing it circulate throughout my friend groups afterwards. Like, some of them will share the podcast page, but other ones will just steal it. And I'm like, that's right. You've been fed today by Everything is Permitted.
I love that.
Man.
I love that. Let's get into some rants and raves. Who's got something?
I have a lot, so.
Oh, me
Go
too.
off,
Go
sis.
off, sir.
All right, so I have, let's see, a rant, a rave, and a thing I just briefly talk about. So the thing I'll briefly talk about first. Brittany and I saw Snake Eyes
Oh, yeah.
together, and so the movie is not bad. I want to get that out of the way real quick. It is not a bad movie, but oh my God, Snake Eyes is almost the goddamn villain of this movie.
He really is.
Of what he does, how he acts, because without going into every single plot detail, he essentially gets taken in by Storm Shadow's clan and he betrays them completely. And he gets Storm Shadow exiled from his own clan. And I mean, Brittany and I walked out and it's like, Storm Shadow is perfectly within
Storm
his
Shadow
rights.
was the good guy the whole movie.
Like the entire movie, Storm Shadow's like, you know, we're brothers. Like, I'm always going to help you and everything. And he just completely
I trust you with
disregards
my
that.
life. Literally
he
betrays
completely
him.
throws it out the window.
And plots to betray them the whole movie. Like,
Yeah.
and you're just like, bro. And remember, I kept turning to you and I was like, this is so dishonorable. Why is he doing this?
Yeah, and that's because he's like, oh, the main villain can help me find the person who killed my father, and it's like these people can also do that.
They have better
the
technology.
resources.
The villains are trying to destroy the clan because they're better.
We have the technology.
So anyway, so yeah, Snake Eyes. All right, so my first,
But hold
Yes.
on 1 second about Snake Eyes, because Brittany wasn't on the show on Thursday, but on a Strange New Pod after we were done recording, Eric was like, hey, I'm going camping. Don't see Snake Eyes. And I'm like, oh, shit, Matt and Brittany are going to see Snake Eyes. He's like, don't let them.
no, it's not the third act is complete G.I. Joe
Right?
fun.
Yeah,
it is,
the
it
third
is,
act
it
is the best part.
That is when they lean into the complete and utter ridiculousness of the whole fucking concept, and that is when the movie
Yeah.
shined.
The first two acts of the movie try to be so serious, but also they're the most stereotypical, like, Asians, like, overly tropey Asian stereotypes I've ever seen in my life.
You
so I
have
was just like,
you have the old Japanese woman wearing a kimono because God forbid she wears like modern clothes or anything like that. She has to look like the stereotypical anyway. But yeah, Snake Eyes. So
snakes on a plane, snakes under drain.
all right, so I will rave first. So I picked up the game Hades, which has been a PC game for a hot minute. It's won like over 50-something Game of the Year awards in its time on PC. And it is worth the hype. It is a fantastic game. It is. I don't even like roguelike RP or roguelike games where, you know, you die, you go back, you do this, and blah, blah, blah. And repetitiveness is how you get through the game. Hades makes it fun. I finally got my first clear last night, and it felt like such an achievement to finally get through, to get out of, you know, Hades and all that other stuff.
Like a wholesome
that.
Dark Souls.
Yeah, it kind of is, but also the voice acting is on point, and even after you quote beat it, you go back to the beginning. There's a reason I won't get into that. You go back all the way back down to the beginning, and you're kind of motivated to keep playing because when the main character meets his mother, Persephone, that's why he's trying to get out of there. He's like, I'm going to go back to her. I'm going to keep going back to see her because I can't stay up there for too long. So I'm just going to keep going. And it makes sense why you'd keep playing. So yeah, Hades is definitely worth it. I highly recommend it. It's definitely worth the hype. So my rant. I talked about this briefly with Julian at the game last night. I picked up Madden 22.
And now he's maddened about it, bro.
You know, because I am a consumer whore. And holy shit, guys. All right. I know that here's the thing. I give people that make sports games a little bit of leeway. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's just roster updates. And sometimes to a point, yes. But think of how hard it is to put out like a multi-million-dollar game yearly and have all these people expect all the world, the moon, and the stars for it. It's a tough job. I'm not going to say it's not.
And I swear.
By the moon and the
God.
stars
But
in the sky.
Madden 22, they added some things that I do like, but holy shit, there are so many problems with the game just from the word go. I said this to Julian. So I was going through the roster of my team, and I was trying to see what players I wanted to trade and what players I wanted to bring in. There is a glitch in the game where the offensive line position, the tackles, the left and right tackle, the right tackle position doesn't exist. It just goes right back to the left tackle when you select it on the screen of players. So you have to go through an entirely different menu to look at your right tackles for your team if you're trying to trade or bring in somebody. I can't believe that somehow escaped like notice from them. Either they knew about it and didn't give a shit, or there wasn't really any kind of play test. And that's just like a basic problem just from the word go. Like collision problems and all that stuff like that. Another thing is like I had wide receivers going to slant. I had a defender just smash right into my wide receiver. No pass interference, nothing. Jeez. Like the game doesn't even recognize it happened. Shit like that completely breaks any hope of immersion I have in the game. And I know they're going to patch it and stuff like that over the coming months, but holy shit, what a bad impression.
The internet has not been kind to Madden 22.
No, and I have been on the train for a while, and I will start preaching it now. EA needs to lose its exclusivity license with the NFL because
100%.
You need to have competition in order for them to actually put out a quality game again. Because right now they just kind of go, here's another year, it's another Madden, have fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was my overly long rants and raves.
Hey, they were good. I appreciate it. Anything?
Oh, I have some raves. Number one, I'll make it short and sweet. Free Guy. You guys know I've been waiting forever for Free Guy. I took 8 people to see Free Guy, and every single fucking person loved it. So, yeah, I feel good. I surrounded it with hearts on my paper, and each one of these hearts goes specifically to Jodie Comer. Also, what a power move to have the final trailer before the movie began be some medieval movie that she's in. I was like, damn, Jodie Comer back to back.
That movie looks fucking awful. And I know you're going to see
Because
it
of
just
Matt-
because Jodie Comer.
Oh, I'm
Which
gonna
movie
say-
was that?
The one with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
But I've known
yeah.
about it for a while. I will see it, but I can't stand Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. I don't know why. I just
They work in certain roles, like
yeah.
Matt Damon,
like Matt Damon
in The
Born
Departed.
Identity and stuff. Like that's fine. That's his thing.
Yeah, or The Departed, which is and all that. But
Yeah, but Ben Affleck especially, I'm just like no.
Matt
I liked
Damon,
you in Daredevil when I was a kid, but that's it. That's
Matt
where I draw the
Damon
line.
does not have the face of a medieval lord.
He
or
also
whatever.
very recently mentioned that he finally stopped using the word faggot. So I was like, oh, as a gay person, thank you for that.
Welcome to the 21st
Thank
century.
you for having your daughter have to call you out in order to stop using that word. And then he
Listen,
tried to come out and say, no, I don't use that word. I was using it as an example for her. And I'm like,
We all know that Boston is 100 years behind on everything.
exactly. I was like, come on. We see
Boston.
But
Bastard.
anyway, definitely see Free Guy. It's my top movie of the year. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, wow.
It's a blast.
Big. Nice.
Yeah. And it's like a little love letter to the gaming industry.
It is. It is.
So,
As someone
time.
who's...
Not an industry that needs a love letter right
No.
now, to be fair.
No, but like to what makes
I know,
games
I
what we
know.
love. Like it was about like keeping like protecting IPs and being kind of like more honest and sincere and truthful and
Mariah Carey's fantasy.
Mariah Carey's fantasy, which has been stuck in my head since the trailers first started. It's so good.
The Avengers cameo is everything.
All the cameos are amazing.
No, that's true.
It was
What the fuck? His reaction.
So good.
I won't do a spoiler alert, but there's another cameo in it that you won't be expecting, and it was that person's last cameo
Oh,
before
yeah.
they passed. Yeah.
Oh,
Don't say it out loud because I
I'm
don't
not.
want the audience to know.
I'm not. Okay.
So now I'm trying to think of who it is now.
I could do something that'll give it away, but I won't.
But anyway, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But then my other rave is for the movie Weathering with You, which is an anime film, and it was made by the same guy that wrote and created Your Name, and it's really good. Your Name is one of my favorite anime movies of all time. Like, and I love Studio Ghibli films, and that one I was just like, oh damn, this might be the greatest movie ever made. And Weathering with You, it's also really good. I don't think it beats Your Name in my opinion, but damn, it's good. It's just gorgeous, and it's such a good, it's another kind of love story one, and it's so wholesome. So I highly suggest it. And even if you don't really like
Wholesome.
anime, it's just good. And Tokyo looks so,
Nice.
shot for shot real. It's
That's
crazy.
awesome.
And it connects to Your Name. Oh, they bridged it so it exists in the same universe and timeline. It's crazy.
The Your Name
Anyway.
universe.
No, it just means
I know. Does that fun?
My coworker that watched it totally missed that the two main characters from Your Name appear in this movie as side people that they run into, and I was just like, those were the people from the other movie as adults, and he was like, no fucking way. So anyway, highly suggest. I've been watching a lot of anime again. I'm feeling really good,
Okay,
Nice. Yeah.
then. All right then.
and that's it for my raves. Also, as always, watch Killing Eve for more Jodie
Oh
Comer.
boy.
Ding.
I'm gonna go off on a lot of things. This is what happens when we don't do a main episode for,
Oh, God.
for a couple of weeks.
Oh man, he's building up.
I have rants. I have raves.
Stand back, son.
I have some
Give
more
me
rants.
room.
First rave. Our friend Geneva, who is one of our EIP.
Geneva.
Oh no, she's one of our not EIP VIP. She's one of our producers. She 2 years ago bought us tickets for the Hell Omega tour at Citizens Bank Park, which is Weezer, Fall Out Boy, and Green Day, of course. The plague happened, and that concert
The plague.
got moved back a year.
And our
and-
society has not rolled high on getting over that.
No, no, they haven't. And honestly, during COVID, I honestly just forgot that we had tickets to the concert. And a month or two ago, Karen's like, so, Hell Omega tour. Oh, I was like, oh, yeah. And things were looking up, right? And
Whoops.
then, whoops. Well, we still had our tickets, and obviously, everything going on with Delta, we had the conversation about do we, don't we? And we decided to go because that's a once in a lifetime
course.
concert. You have to go. We wore masks mostly the entire time, and it was nice that we actually got downpoured on. It was fantastic because it was really fucking gross that day. So the rain was awesome. But dude, let me tell you how good of a concert this was. When Weezer opens and they're pretty good, you know that you're just going to get an amazing concert because they were not the highlight of the night. Fall Out Boy, holy shit. Didn't realize how much I loved Fall Out Boy until I started coming back and being a 15-year-old boy and singing along to all of the songs.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was my second time seeing Green Day, and holy shit. There's an interesting thing to say about Green Day because if you go and if you watch their England tour, you can get the DVD and watch the tour, and you go to the concert that we went to in Camden years ago, Billy Joe and the band like don't really change things up that much, but yet it still always feels like a new experience watching them live. Like I don't know how to explain it, but they are just the most fun band to see live. Like, because if you talk about Fall Out Boy having like hit after hit after hit, like that's literally every Green Day album. So it's like, oh, that song, well now they're going this, like the whole crowd was
did
chanting.
they do the first 3 albums like worth of songs?
Yeah.
So my cousin said he was there too. He
Yeah,
loved it.
they did. Yeah, so they did most of Dookie, a lot of American Idiot, and they did like 1 or 2 new songs.
Fun fact, my cousin in our first D&D campaign named his character Dookie because of that.
That's amazing.
Oh man.
So
Yeah, he was a fan.
it was a really good show. I'm really happy that we went. I would have been a little sad if we missed it. My other rave.
Woo!
So y'all know I'm a wrestling fan, and something pretty big happened in wrestling this weekend or this week. And that was the full-time return of CM Punk. If you don't know who CM Punk is, he is considered to be not only the best wrestler on a microphone to have ever lived, but just he's called the best in the world for a reason. It's like I stopped watching wrestling after CM Punk got fired from WWE because everybody knew the situation, and it really soured my taste more because, listen, Vince McMahon has become 10 times more of an asshole since then, and he was an asshole then. Now, he signed with AEW, which is the up-and-coming, much better wrestling product. For him to sign with AEW is like the Union signing Messi. Like, it is that big of a deal. It possibly puts AEW over WWE, even though WWE are like the $1 trillion company. And just to have him back, someone who is that charismatic and good for business and loves the business, is just, it was one of the coolest moments in wrestling history to have him back. And he comes out to In Living Color's Cult of Personality.
Yeah.
So when that music hits, it's just like, it's the best thing ever. He is literally the best in the world. It is great to have him back in wrestling. And his first match is against an up-and-coming kid named Darby Allin, who is just like, it's like his first match back is a dream match. Like, you think about what you want CM Punk's first match to be back in wrestling, you think Darby Allin. It is going to just be a rager. It is going to be amazing. Can't wait. That's in 2 weeks at All Out. Having a party.
Do you feel the punk?
Gonna make
Punk
some
from outer space.
Gonna make some pizzas. I'm gonna end with a rant.
Woo! As always.
It's like a rant rave.
Okay. Have fun.
Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Jeopardy. So obviously, if you are a Jeopardy fan, if you're not a Jeopardy fan, they've had a great string of like guest hosts after Alex Trebek's passing, and the whole fucked up thing surrounding this is that after all of these guest hosts, which were meant to be auditions, the executive producer of the show, Mike Richards,
Fuck that guy.
gets the fucking gig alongside Mayim Bialik, who is amazing, and I love her. And they, from the news and everything, they wanted her to be the full-time host, but like she's doing a bunch of other stuff right now, so she couldn't commit to it. But it's still shady that Mike Richards got the job, right? Because it's basically like, oh, I'm just putting myself in the running. Oh, and by the way, I'm giving myself the job, which people could say, well, it's Sony giving him the job. No, like, motherfucker gave himself the job. Anyway, Immediately after getting the job, all of these things came to light. How is he's a fucking womanizer, a sexist, like a misogynist, just like, you know, a douchebag. And Sony just didn't say anything, kept him in the job. And unfortunately, they started already recording the next season, but new stuff had come to light of a couple of podcast appearances where like it was just damning, and he quit.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do you fuck this up? How do you fuck up Alex Trebek's legacy that badly by announcing this guy in the first place when there were a string of so many better people for the job? And I will say this last. LeVar Burton. People are like, oh, LeVar Burton should get the job. LeVar Burton should get the job. I fucking love LeVar Burton.
I heard he didn't do a great job.
And that's what I'm getting at. LeVar Burton did not do a very good job. And I will tell you this, LeVar Burton will be the first person to tell you that. He wrote a whole article about it. That being said, if someone should get the job, it should be LeVar Burton, simply because, one, he's a black man and enough of fucking white people getting these fucking jobs. That's like first and foremost, right? Like, Jesus Christ. 2,
Also, not white.
yes. 2, he, more than I think anybody else who hosted who did do a good job, could grow into it and make it his own show and be fantastic at it, even though he didn't do an initially good job. I cannot tell you how disappointing it is for a show like Jeopardy, though, to have gone this route without even thinking about the repercussions. And I mean, Jesus Christ, people, do a background check. It's 2021. People like him have bad fucking histories. Just do a better job.
Well, it's funny to me because I think one article basically put it is it's almost like a company having a corporate position, like a high-paying corporate position, and it's like, oh, we're so progressive. We interviewed all these minority candidates. We're gonna give it to the white guy.
Literally,
we're gonna give it to the white guy. Everybody, he was the best candidate. Wink.
The whitest pasty motherfucker they give the job to. Come on. Anyway. The solution now is, because they fucked up, they're going to do a whole string of more guest hosts, but the campaign has already started for LeVar to get the job, and I hope he does, as someone who thought he was not very good, because I think he could do it and make it amazing.
Did you see Ryan Reynolds' tweet?
No. Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah, where he was fans campaigned for years for me to be Deadpool, and he's like, and I even thought, yeah, why not? He's like, but then the studio wasn't okay with it. And he's like, but now look where we are. And then he just went, hi, LeVar. At the end.
Yep.
So, if people want it that bad, it will happen.
Yeah.
But you don't have to take my word for it.
Mm-hmm.
That is my rants and raves. A lot of good stuff in there. Let's get into the
permitted minute.
I'm thinking of doing one of the many atrocious voices that is in Willy Wonka. Oh yeah, I got this group here with the permitted minute. I'm going to drink from the chocolate lake.
Damn it, we should have come up with an Oompa Loompa song for the permitted minute before we sat down.
Oh God, no.
Hi Freddie, hi Tommy, it's me. It's me. I'm on the permitted minute.
Oh God, I can't fucking do it.
It is the permitted minute, and we are going to go here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Mr. Gatus, start the clock.
Before her upcoming series on Disney+, Riri Williams will make her debut in Black Panther 2.
Heading over to DC, a Black Canary Birds of Prey spinoff film is in the works with Misha Green and Journey Smollett.
And switching universes once again back to the MCU, Don Cheadle's Armor Wars series has found its head writer in Yashir Lester. Lester currently stars alongside Cheadle in the Showtime series Black Monday.
Committed to its planned holiday release, 343 Studios has announced that Halo Infinite will ship without campaign co-op or Forge mode at launch, as it focuses on completing the main campaign and multiplayer modes.
After 2 Eternals trailers, we may finally be getting a trailer by the time this episode releases for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Star Trek Voyager's Kate Mulgrew has been cast in the upcoming Showtime series The Man Who Fell to Earth, which is an adaptation of the 1963 novel from Walter Tevis.
With the current Activision Blizzard lawsuit moving ahead, things have not been good for World of Warcraft, with content creators leaving the game for good and protest the company's behavior. Did we make it?
I was telling you to slow down. We had plenty of time.
Ah, well.
He was like, oh, he's waving me on.
Yeah, no, just slow down. We had 13 seconds on.
Oh, okay.
Wow, look at that.
For some reason, I thought. I know you went back, and that's why I was like, crap, we gotta make up some time.
No, we were good because they weren't overly long. So, before we get into the Bad Batch and into Willy Wonka, let's do some odds and ends real quick. Talk about that final Eternals trailer because, oh boy, the first trailer was good. It got me I'm ready. I'm gonna see this.
He's like, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
My body is ready.
But this trailer. Holy shit, we got to see their powers. We got to see a Celestial. We got the explanation on why they didn't fight in Endgame.
And they still ended it with a cruddy joke.
I mean,
in Marvel fashion, they take a gorgeous trailer and then at the very end you're like, what's the punchline? Get it? It punches the table.
Should have just had them fart or something like that, you know?
They're Eternals, they're better than that.
They don't fart.
What did you guys think of the final trailer?
So, all right. I'm going to see this movie, and I would see this movie if I wasn't doing a podcast that will be discussing it. But I will say this though: this trailer made me go about the villain stuff because it looks like CGI schlock.
That's
and
fair.
I'm not a fan of that.
That's fair.
And also, I said this because Brittany and I actually watched the trailer before you got here because I had totally forgot about it. And part of me was like the whole thing where I'm assuming the main villain is tentacle grabbing Angelina Jolie's character, and I was like, God damn it. And as I said, like, just make interesting villains,
He's got a
please.
dirty mind.
Yeah, I know. Make interesting villains for the love of God, please, please, please. Like, don't stop with
They
the
might
CGI
be interesting, even if CG.
I'm not the dog or creatures things. I'm not holding out hope for that. I'll be pleasantly
Thanos
surprised.
was like 99% CG.
Yeah, but I mean, how
face.
good was that CG? Though?
No, I'm not saying it's not
Brittany
possible.
hates Thanos so much.
I'm not saying it's not
God.
possible to make a good. Yes, obviously Thanos was fun to watch and all that other fun and all that other stuff.
Allegedly.
But I mean, I think of like when I think of these over CG villains, I think of like not good movies, or at least movies where I'm like, that was fun, but I don't really care about
Joss Whedon's Justice League. Sorry.
Womp, womp, womp. Way to Steppenwolf all over our plans.
Or, you can go like Green Lantern.
Oh God.
Yeah, you remember that? Forgot about that one, didn't we?
That's the reason why he and Taika were not in a scene together in Free Guy, if you notice. He's like, we're both really good, but we should never actually be in a movie together again after Green Lantern.
Your thoughts on this trailer?
I like that finally, because I said there's no way they can avoid it in this movie. You see a Celestial. Thank you. Like, that's the bare minimum of what I needed for this movie. Like Matt, I was always going to see it anyway. Even if we weren't going to review it, still going to see it. I'm excited for it. A lot of them share, like, similar powers. Like, they have, like, matter manipulation and stuff like that. I think it'll be really cool. The movie is going to be gorgeous. Why am I forgetting the woman's name? Zhao. Something Zhao?
I'm looking.
Zhao.
I have it. Hold on.
Yeah, the cinematographer. She just won Oscars.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a beautifully filmed
the
film.
cinematography is going to be
Film.
great. And the thing is, like, seeing the trailers, especially because we've been going to the movies, thanks to A-List, shameless plug, they look so much better on a big screen. And that's the thing, like, a lot of people are complaining about, like, how it looks like, on YouTube, but a lot of those things are compressed. If you watch it uncompressed on a bigger screen and stuff, you see more of how the visuals look. So I think it's going to be, like, a gorgeous film. I'm also a little bummed that people, like, every single time they do any trailer or any promotion for this movie, is people in the comments all crying, like, oh, why didn't they help out when Thanos snapped everybody away, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, if Marvel's going to have to explain to you every single time they introduce a new character in their own solo movie, or, they're moving on past this, like, the snap happened, whatever. But if they're going to have to, like, backtrack and explain to you why this person wasn't here, why weren't you here in 2017 when this happened, like, just stop. They weren't, okay? They don't need a crazy reason. In this case, they are commanded to do certain things by Celestials. They're the defenders of Earth from specific people who are attacking that are deviants. Thanos does have the deviant gene, but, like, they could easily just Ancient One it, where it's like, we knew exactly what would happen, and if we interfered, it would have made it worse.
But, like,
no, the only reason I would say they felt the need to explain this is because in the trailer it says we've been around for 7,000 years and we protect these people. And I even said, like, well, you did a shitty job of it, so
yeah. But, like, are they going to do that with Shang-Chi as well, depending on when it takes place? Like,
see that
if it takes place before the snap or not?
That I would be fine with them ignoring that, because, like, Shang-Chi, they're not going to be like, I have been around for 7,000 years. Like, then it's like, all right, where the fuck have you been then for?
Yeah.
So on and so
forth.
forth.
I mean, I just hate when people do that, because you have all these comic books where a big crossover event will happen and a lot of characters will be involved, but not every single character in the universe is going to be in it. And then later on, they're like, well, what was Silver Surfer doing during all this? Nobody cares what Silver Surfer was doing. He was off doing his own space shit.
He was surfing those sweet waves.
Exactly. Like, that's the thing. When eventually they introduce the X-Men, I don't care when it happens. They don't have to then backtrack and explain to me why they didn't fight against Thanos. I don't give a fuck why they didn't.
It doesn't happen in comics. It doesn't happen in the movies. Like, get over yourself.
Well,
Exactly.
well, remember, though, the thing is, though, is you're making these movies for mass consumption, and unfortunately not for the comic book audience, which is accepting of, all right, so-and-so character isn't here. Fuck it. Whatever. I don't care. They'll probably make like a single issue, whatever, about their adventures or so on and so forth. Like the average moviegoer on Reddit might be like, where were the Eternals during Infinity War?
Yeah, they're always the ones that are like, who would be more powerful, or could a lightsaber cut through a shit, whatever. And I'm like, just stop.
Could
These
the
things would
Infinity
never happen.
Could the Infinity Gauntlet stop a lightsaber? We're gonna review that.
Oh God.
Stanley said it best. Whenever people bring up, like, would Captain America, beat fucking, I don't know, Superman or whatever. He's like, these characters would never fight each other. So why are you asking? It would never happen. And I was like, thank you, Stan Lee. Anyway, I digress.
It was really fun. I like the trailer.
It's a fun trailer.
It's a really fun trailer. I love getting to see a Celestial, and like you guys, I fully accept that, like, Celestial told us not to get involved. You listen to a fucking, like, celestial being that is hovering in the fucking sky.
Because at least now you have a power dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the judge they showed.
Yes, Arishem the judge. Yes. I'm very excited about the Celestials. Yeah, I want to see this even more now. I'm excited for it.
I love the cast.
The cast is
The casting looks really good.
Really good.
And the fact that they unwhitewashed characters. I'm like, look
Yes.
at this diversity.
Let's
go.
talk about the characters, because listen, like, I don't know a lot about the Eternals.
I vaguely do.
I know nothing.
Matt
about
knows nothing. Jon Snow, who is not in this movie. Oh no, he is. He's Black Knight.
He is. He's Black Knight.
Yes, he is in this movie and knows not.
He's just not in all the scenes.
And actually, one of Screen Rant's captions is "Black Knight knows nothing."
I mean, he the only face he does is his Jon Snow look there in the
So.
quick scene.
Let's talk about these characters. We will start with the amazing, the beautiful Angelina Jolie. God, love
Oh,
her.
you're gonna say Gemma Chan?
No,
We're good.
I
Hey.
had a giant poster of Angelina in my college dorm room. I loved her.
I loved Tomb Raider as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Still do.
She plays Thena. Am I getting that right? It's
Yeah.
Thena, and she, as you've seen in these trailers, makes these beautiful weapons out of cosmic energy, and the CG for them is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love the shield and spear that they show her do in that one scene.
I like the sword.
And she is the cousin of Thanos.
She is the cousin of Thanos. I know
Third
that.
cousin, twice removed.
I know that you're gonna hate the idea, but that's fine. I kind of hope that there's like a brief Thanos cameo with her and
I
him.
think she'll at least reference it.
Yeah.
Like I would be more surprised if they don't reference him at all.
And if I hear any, well, why doesn't she have purple skin? Fuck off.
Because she doesn't have the deviant gene, bitch.
That's right.
She's an Eternal.
Let's move on to Cersei, whose powers are matter manipulation.
Selma Hayek. Or whatever.
No, that's Gemma Chan.
Oh,
right?
okay, she's Cersei. Okay.
Yes.
I can't remember like who
Yep.
plays who.
Shame.
Yeah, a lot of them are going to have the same energy manipulation. A few of them have other powers on top of that.
Nice. Icarus, played by the guy who plays, I don't remember his name.
The brother
is
who gets killed.
Richard Madden
Rob
is his
Stark.
name.
Yes, there you go.
Rob Stark, Red Wedding.
Wedding.
R.I.P.
He basically is Superman, from judging by this trailer. He
I mean,
flies. He's got laser eyes.
He's got energy manipulation and then also the laser eyes. So everybody,
Yep.
almost everybody has the manipulation, but
manipulation.
on top of that, they get something
This
else.
says optic beams. Listen. It could be you could-
Cyclops, just whatever.
whatever. It's again. This movie's beautiful. The CG is beautiful. I love his blue
I
and
love the
gold suit.
costumes.
Oh,
They're
they're
all amazing.
so good.
And the patterns on them, how it's like replicated on the ship and like other things
Mm-hmm.
around them, I'm like, gorgeous.
Then we have is it Ayak or Ajak? Who's Selma Hayek? Ajak, who has the power of healing.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
Mati with the power of heart.
I love it. You always need a healer on your team. This is why they're going to win.
This is literally a D&D group. Fastos, who does, again, we're going to say this a lot, matter manipulation.
He also makes like weapons and stuff like Hephaestus.
A
lot of it's like-
and that just brings me back to Horizon Zero Dawn.
Icarus can fly.
I actually like Kumail Nanjiani as
Right?
Kingo. I like Kumail Nanjiani. He's a legit funny dude. And
He got ripped for this role too.
yeah, well, that too, but like he still to this day has the most epic burn on an asshole who tweeted on him from Jimmy Kimmel's Celebrities Read Mean Tweets. It is the most amazing thing ever.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, it's oh god, it went down in legend as to how badly this dude must have just deleted his
account.
Twitter
I was gonna say.
as soon as it aired.
He plays Kingo, and yet again, you guessed right, cosmic energy manipulator. And then we have Makari, who is a speedster, not from that universe, in this universe. So think Quicksilver. Sprite, great name. Illusion.
Yep.
And finally,
Classic trickster god.
Druig, who is a mind manipulator. So
Yummy.
Yum yum.
Nom nom.
No,
You stupid friend.
Friend. Mustache. If you haven't listened yet, we just did our Suicide Squad review special.
Honestly, that
Suicide
movie
Squad.
has brought more people together than I thought it would.
It's so good.
Across the board, people who walk in here are just like, that was a fun movie. I'm like, thank you. That's all I need sometimes is just a fun
fun
superhero
movie.
movie. It doesn't have to be deep.
Nope.
Just let it be fun.
Anyway, this is getting close, right? Holiday, I
it's-
think.
I thought it was November.
Yeah,
September,
it's a little
November?
because we got
September,
Shang-Chi
Shang-Chi.
in like a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think it's November.
Yeah. So
Either
we
way.
have our tickets for Shang-Chi. That is going to be our review special.
Oh,
Let
yes.
I've been ready. But yeah, it looks gorgeous no matter what. I mean, it's the same way I feel like when I see the Dune trailers and just like how it's shot and how it looks is so
Yes.
gorgeous that I'm like, regardless of what happens, it's a gorgeous movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel like Eternals will be. We'll see what the plot holds because that's usually the weaker strong point amongst hero movies. But
Yeah.
if it's a good plot, I mean, could be a bop. Could be a bop.
Yeah.
I think it will be good. Anything else on Eternals before we move on?
Nah, let's do it.
Let's do it. It is our season finale review of Star Wars: The Bad Batch, the 2 finale episodes, which even though it wasn't considered a 2-part finale, this
Well,
was
they did on Disney Plus. It said like part 1 of 2,
Oh,
but the
they did?
episodes
Okay.
were not named
No.
part 1, part 2.
No, they weren't. So this was Return to Kamino and Kamino Lost. We're going to treat this as one episode. Brittany,
I call it Kameen Oh No, Part 1 and Part 2. That's what I renamed it.
I don't know what button I'm going to... Oh, this one.
Mother of God.
Yeah, that was not very good, but I'll take it. You're up first. Hit it before I change my mind.
Trying to gather my thoughts here. So, like, I wasn't really wowed by the finale, but I thought it was interesting that they did pretty much sync Kamino. Well, not Kamino. Kamino's a planet, but like that specific city where they do the cloning. That's amazing, Matt.
I know.
And like it had shown at least Omega's growth throughout the season. Like, I feel like she's had the biggest like character growth and arc of pretty much anybody here. And the potential of like Crosshair, even though he's still siding with the Empire, he kind of has this, it's not really like a truce between them, but like a subtle understanding where it's like he could potentially down the line switch sides or be like a double agent, even though it's not quite there yet. There was a lot of interesting things that happened in this finale. And once again, it was gorgeous. Like we said, every episode has gotten more and more gorgeously animated. The finale definitely showed that for like the vastness of where they were at.
There were
The
moments,
water,
Yeah, like underwater.
the smoke effects of the city burning.
There were
and
moments
all
that my mouth was literally like,
Yeah, gorgeous.
wow.
So that's a lot of what wowed me about the finale was just the animation. Like as far as like where the series has gotten by the finale, I'm still just kind of like meh about it. But I really like that part. And of course, you know, the final moments with Omega and Crosshair because it shows how she is as a person. Like, you know, she's
Yeah.
that character that's always going to feel that empathy towards others. And it was like lending an olive branch, and the fact that he went out of his way to save her and the
and
robot.
the droid, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? There might be hope for you yet, Crosshair, but we'll see.
You know, after the murders.
Yeah. Well, it's also the fact that, like, he claims to not have his inhibitor chip anymore, but also, like, there's signs that he still has it, and maybe it's just he's fighting it right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's starting to malfunction on him.
Well, at one point after he said that it was removed, it seemed like they rolled him over to see if like he had the mark,
But he has
And he
the
didn't have
scarring.
the
but he has
mark.
the scar
Yeah.
from the burn on the side
the
of his
scar
head.
could
But
cover it if he did, but I have a feeling it's not
Yeah,
removed.
no, I think I agree. I agree.
But it's still, it leaves that, like, what if? Pun intended.
I was
That shows
I was
up.
gonna say it.
But yeah, like overall, it's a solid 2-parter because it, you know, they kind of have to go together. If they would have ended with part 1, I would have been like, that was fucking lame. But we'll see. I don't know if I want to watch like season 2 episode by episode reviewing it. Like, it might be one of those ones where I'd rather binge and then be like, I feel like it works better binging. For the story.
I feel like that maybe if the second season they might finally develop their own footing for the show, if that makes sense. Because let's be frank, the first season of Star Wars: The Clone Wars is like I couldn't get through it just because like I got so annoyed by it.
Yeah.
But obviously, like by the last season, it's a fantastic.
You're like, this is the greatest show ever made.
Yeah, it's a fantastic piece of Star Wars lore. So
Yeah.
like Brittany, I liked this episode. I wasn't blown away by it.
Unlike
I still,
the city.
yeah.
I was gonna.
I said this in a previous episode review, is that I didn't think they were going to go hardcore into a clone holocaust, and obviously they didn't. They did we evacuated the city trope before they blew it up, which
Did they though?
yeah, they did.
It was pretty empty.
You saw nobody else.
Okay, no, that's fair.
You saw
Okay.
not a single person,
All right, fair.
alien, whatever.
I mean, there was one sea monster.
There's always.
I know. There's always the bigger fish.
Can we? All right. Let me get out. Let me go on a sidebar real quick. Does every Star Wars planet have to have a giant something lurking in the depths? If there's an ocean, or whatever,
big goober fish.
Because there's always something. They can't. It's not enough that the ocean is gonna like drown them. There has to be a giant.
It's
goddamn
what makes
fish.
the planet interesting.
Even worse though, why does it want to eat the metal? Like, it doesn't want to eat the metal. It wants to eat the smaller fish. Like, come on, fish. Like, you don't care about these itty bitty people. It's like a big fish going after minnows. They don't go after minnows. Like, come on.
It made for a cool shot, though.
Sure.
But probably the series' strongest thematic element has been Crosshair's relation to the rest of the Bad Batch, and these 2 episodes leaned heavily into that, and to its benefit. I'm still not a fan of Omega. She still is very much the kid character who I'm just kind of like about, just especially her whole like, they're still your brothers, Crosshair. Like, I get that they're trying to do that emotional thing, but Crosshair is already thinking that.
It worked for me. I cried. I was like, oh, God damn it, Omega.
You're weak.
Anyway. I liked that throughout the episode. So if you go and compare to like Omega from the earlier episodes, she was so like rash and would do things without thinking, and her decision making wasn't good. But like the fact that she leads the way on a lot of this, even though it pisses off Crosshair, like she has that moment where like when he's stuck under the rubble, that she just instinctively like she's thought this out in her head, but still goes to help him because she's like, this is what I need to do. And I thought it was cool that like she was so calm and like patient in a lot of her decisions in this episode, which is pretty much not happened the whole series. And I was like, whoa, character growth.
She didn't panic in a lot of those situations.
I wasn't a huge fan of the whole reveal of like, oh, she basically knew them when they were being altered and everything. Like, she didn't mention this at all in their entire adventures, that she had seen them essentially from when they were created.
Like how Anakin should have mentioned that he built C-3PO in the original movies when he fucking saw them, or like, oh, R2.
That's still one of my
friend.
That's still one of my favorite Robot Chicken skits. He's like, and as a child, I built C-3PO, and Luke's just like, what?
Improbable.
You know what? If you're not going to take this seriously, I'm out. He flicks the cigarette.
It's so good.
I kind of feel like I have the same thoughts as you guys. Like, I got back from the Union game and just immediately put these on, and like, I don't know if it was just because I was tired, but like, they were good. Like, it didn't make me want to like not watch the show anymore, but they just like, it didn't do anything crazy for me, except the moments like you guys said, like, holy shit, the animation is just like out of control. Seeing those Venator class Star Destroyers bombarding Kamino is just like, it brings you back to Rogue One. It brings you back to all these like big moments in Star Wars. And go ahead.
Can we not, whenever Tarkin is on, can we not have him say, "You may fire when ready"? Like, does he get paid every time he says that to another Imperial?
Oh yeah.
I love it. What are you Tarkin about? That's the only thing he says.
God.
But I really did enjoy Crosshair's kind of like, I don't know what to do, because the Empire did just turn on me, but at the same time, I probably am fighting with this chip that I said is not in my head, but is in my head. Like, I really like that, dude.
Did you say Crosshair was at a crossroads?
I did. One of the moments that like shook me in this episode was when he kills his entire fucking squad.
Shook it.
Like, he's
with
just like
one shot, dude.
With one shot, he's like bing, bing, bing. I'm like, damn, Crosshair, you cold. He
truly is.
Does not mind killing people. If I've talked about at the beginning, like, is he beyond redemption at this point? Because he's killed a shit ton of people. That being said, the moment at the end that you didn't like too much, when him and Omega are standing on the platform, goes, they're still your brothers, and I'm your, or it goes like, you're my brother too, and I'm like,
The Hunter Crosshair. Will they? Won't they? It's like, well, the
no, Omega says that.
I know. Like,
oh man,
that whole like that like look they give each other.
But
not romantically, but I just mean like it's that fucking like brotherly rivalry where it's like where he's just like, if you do flip sides and come to us, I'll allow it. You probably won't.
The thing is, though, the Empire is not going to welcome him back. They're like, if he goes into
they got their new program.
He's floating on a platform. They could literally just be like, "Oh, there's that clone that we killed. Just bombard the platform." Like, what?
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens because he's not going to be welcome back in the Empire.
You know what I want to see? The other members of the Bad Batch do something. Like, isn't that one dude, Echo, who got, like, tortured?
Has done nothing.
Yeah, has done nothing. I don't even think he's had, like, lines, really. And then,
He's
like,
had some,
you've
but-
had Tech, like, occasionally do, like, a, hey, blah, 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 blah. Like, here's some shit I figured out. But, like, other than that, it's like...
It's been a Wrecker, Hunter,
Wrecker,
Omega.
Hunter, Omega show, and occasionally Crosshair gets a guest appearance. Like,
Yeah.
it's a Bad Batch. You gotta let the whole batch do their thing. Because, like, literally the finale happened, and I forgot Echo's name. Like, I was talking to Matt about it. I was like, why is it that one dude
Yeah,
hasn't done
neither of
shit?
us could remember his name.
And
I was like,
I'm pretty sure it's like Echo, like my cat.
Let's go into Crosshair a little bit more deep, right? Because we've kind of already talked about, you know, does he or does he not have the chip? How do you guys like the way? Because this is what we've been talking about for 16 episodes now. How are they going to handle Crosshair in the finale? Is there going to be the big turn? We didn't get the big turn. We got a very like middle of the road.
they planted the seed
Yeah.
potentially for a turn.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that he didn't immediately turn at the end because that would have been
really cheap.
unbelievable. And, like, it just would have been too easy. I like that they set him up to be this kind of, I guess, gray area character where, like, now maybe they will focus specifically on the Empire and, like, what are they doing to continue the cloning? Like, Nala Se being taken to that new facility, you're like, are they going to do that shit where they connect it to the Mandalorian where it's like, and this is how Grogu was made? Like, you know? Like, what are they
I
doing?
wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be, because, like, there's this whole secret cloning program, and, like...
They're going to connect it to
Palpatine's
Snoke.
still alive. No, that's what I was going to say. Palpatine's still alive, but you know how in those goddamn god-awful fucking
It's like
sequel
everybody
trilogy.
rolled their eyes in one fell swoop.
Yep. And it's like, why did he get cloned?
Thousand voices crying out, "No, Snoke, no."
Jesus.
Sorry.
So yeah, maybe it'll tie into that. Or maybe into like the Death Trooper, the crazy ones they make that
Yes.
show up in the Mandalorian. Like,
Well, we keep seeing them,
Yeah.
right? Like the
So it's
very
like-
early versions. Yeah.
how are they being built? What's going on? Does it connect to Finn? We don't know.
I did not see Kamino getting destroyed coming.
That I saw that coming. miles away.
I saw
You
maybe
saw it coming? No, it didn't work.
That was forced. Yep, thank you.
I tried.
Boo.
What was the name of that city? Is to something?
Talpaca, something like that.
Because that's what's destroyed. Kamino, it's still a planet. They didn't blow it up.
It's still a giant
Well, no.
water planet,
Yes,
apparently.
correct.
But the Kaminoan cloning facility, yes, is dead.
The
Yes.
Kaminoans.
But yeah,
have
that
been
actually being
evacuated.
destroyed, that's something that I guess without the show we would have never had closure on. I guess that's the nice thing. Because like Clone Wars is all about the clones. You never see what happens to the facility afterwards. So knowing that it actually gets completely destroyed and then Nala Se is taken on because they're like, we can't fully trust you, but we're going to force you to work for us and do more cloney shit
More
in a secret facility.
I really like how they tied this, like the destruction and just like seeing the city again into Attack of the Clones, and they didn't do that through visual cues. They did it through audio cues. Like the whole score was basically picking up a lot of beats from John Williams' score from Episode 2, which I thought was really cool. I'm the only one who's ever going to pick up on that shit, but I did. I did. I liked.
You know my favorite beat from that movie?
Oh please, God no!
Is when the head hits the ground. It was an interesting beat.
I got nothing.
It's okay.
I got nothing. Yeah, it's just. I think it's one of those big Star Wars moments. Like if they're going to take away like one major thing that from this episode that was like shocking, whether you expect it or not, like this was really big, and I think a very big deal. And the way in which it showed, like Matt, you were saying, like seeing like the smoke come up, and just like the finality of we're not going to be on Kamino again.
That's
like
the biggest thing that happened in the
that's
show
it.
was Order 66 and then the facility being destroyed.
Yeah.
Other than that, like they haven't done anything major that's
No.
changed lore or done anything too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting to see, but at the same time, though, is that the whole evacuating everybody to me, it takes away the emotional level of it.
I agree.
Because it's like you're trying to make it seem, but there's nobody there. You're just destroying a bunch of buildings, which it's like watching a nuclear test of an empty town. There's nothing there. There's no people there, so you're not feeling sad about anything. Like, oh, some buildings are getting blown
Yeah,
up.
they could have had one person hide in a fridge and like it would have been a whole dramatic scenario for us. We would have I fucking can't.
God. Oh, Jesus. But yeah, and I mean, once again, it goes to the whole thing of this is technically a kid's show. I mean, it very much is. So they probably weren't going to go that hardcore in the first season. Like, you're not going to see a city with people running, oh my God, running around as it's getting bombarded.
If the kids have watched Clone Wars or Episode 3, they've watched Genocide.
I've already said this, like, childhood, like, pop culture trauma breeds loving memories. So.
Oh, it does.
True.
Everybody cries about Mufasa constantly.
Mufasa, never-ending story. Oh God, there's just
Last Unicorn.
Bambi.
Labyrinth.
Bambi, yes.
Oh yeah, Bambi.
Fox and the Hound for some people.
Oh, Disney owns all these things. Just kidding. Right? Most of them.
Most of them.
So one thing that we were always going to question, and what we've been questioning, can these 16 episodes put a bow on the season? And did these last 2 episodes make up for some pretty bad middle episodes?
No. Let me just jump in. No.
Yeah, I'm not impressed. The best, like the strongest and more interesting episodes were the beginning and end.
Yeah.
The fact,
and then like the mid-season kind of.
The fact that we have said that, you know, I'll join you guys in agreeing with this, is that like the second season, I'm not really interested in doing an episode by episode breakdown.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I mean, maybe we could do like, if certain story beats happen during the season, we say, hey, you know, we talk about it up to that point, but
or if somebody's like, it just connected to the Mandalorian in a crazy way, I'll be like, now I gotta rush and watch all 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard because we all love Star Wars so much too, and like it is the first season of a animated show, but like it's very hard if it's Star Wars and we're not like excited to watch it every week. Like the Mandalorian, even if there's an episode we're kind of like meh about, we're still excited to watch it the next week.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
The SI is like our sound for this whole show.
It's been the sound for the season just because it did not pick up, and this finale, even though it was beautiful, it was
no She-Ra.
It was no She-Ra. It was no Lower Decks with Riker coming in on the Titan.
So good.
No, it was fine. It was fine. Even though we may not be reviewing it episode by episode, let's talk about some predictions for season 2. Who's got something?
I could see Crosshair feeling more ostracized by the Empire because he says he wants a part of what they're doing. He wants to get wealth and power and whatever from them controlling the galaxy, but he's a failure. He's essentially going to be cast aside. I could see them being like, oh, you're not in the Death Troopers anymore. Go put on your white Stormtrooper armor.
Oh, make him a reg.
Yeah, and he basically gets very offended by that. I could see that happening.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to try to want to be like a Thrawn-like character where he is this person that's like outside of the Empire who still wants to very much be a part of it in order to like gain this power. But I do think probably at the end of the second season, he's really going to have to pick sides, and we'll either side with them, or I guess we'll see what happens. But yeah, I feel like he's going to try his best to still maintain some footing in the Empire, and it's just going to slowly be taken away from him, if not right away.
So one thing I will give this season is that other than the first episode, for obvious reasons, they didn't do Jedi stuff, which I'm actually grateful for.
Neat.
Because that's something that Star Wars always seems to fall back into, even if it's supposed to be like, these are the non-magic power people, but we're going to have episodes or 2.
Example, Mandalorian.
Yes.
The Force happens immediately.
So at least Bad Batch did that very well. I was happy that we didn't have the prerequisite episode or 2 where a Jedi shows up, and now they got to run around with them.
Hey, that kid's canon. Neat.
That being
and it
said,
sounds like Freddie Prinze Jr.
That being said, I think that season 1 is going to delve into more of like, okay, maybe we're like helping Jedi get to like safe houses, kind of like a Jedi Underground Railroad, because there's some like still alive, right? I think that we're going to see a lot more of the Empire, and as far as Crosshair, I really don't know what way they're going to go. I'm going to obviously watch and find out.
He does a heroic sacrifice. Never joins them in the end, but gives up his life to help them.
Yeah.
So one thing that I felt that there was an opportunity missed in the second episode, when they're trapped underwater, when Crosshair says like, your leadership, you know, you got them here and blah, 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 blah. like I felt Hunter should have said, and you followed orders and you're right here with us. Like there should have been something like that where he points out the fact that, yeah, you did everything they wanted you to do and you're still right here going to die with us, dude. So
the last thing I'll say is that I also think that we're going to find out something major about Omega in the next season because they have to because right now she is just not.
She has a energy bow.
She needs something. She need like Rey never needed to have anything, but like Omega needs.
But she also
something.
like has shown like some sort of like it's not necessarily force sensitivity, but she has that like weird empathy where she can tell what people are going to do. So she has some sort of like empathic powers. Watch them make it force related.
Of course,
we gotta. We gotta bring back Fennec Shand and Cad Bane.
Oh,
they probably will.
No,
they probably will.
Please no, Cad Bane. Please take your toothpick and shove it up your ass.
Wow.
I hate Cad
That
Bane.
won't do much. It's just one toothpick.
He doesn't have an. He might not have an anus, so we don't know. We don't know what his species is like.
It could be
well, that got weird
behind
quick.
his ear. I don't
Let's rate these 2 episodes out of 5 aerial bombardments.
I'll just say 4 out of 5. It was a finale. It at least worked for what it did. But it's really sad for me. I think if I ever did give any episode of the show a 5 out of 5, it was maybe only the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of the show, the highest I could even get was 4 out of 5, and that was like being real nice. But yeah, it worked for a finale. At least there was some character growth, and we'll see where it goes from here. It's gorgeous, so that's why it gets a 4 out of 5.
I was thinking 4 out of 5 as well. It's as a finale, it worked. It it planted the seed for Crosshair's possible betrayal or redemption, whatever you'd like to call it.
He's deceived. No, deceived.
Oh
No.
God!
What does he decide later?
They got
It's Brittany, bitch.
Perfect. That's going to be the sound of the next large creature they run into. Do you hear that call in the distance? Wah, 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 wah.
God.
It's going to eat all our kids, just like the weasel.
3.5 out of 5. It was pretty. Omega got me a little weepy at the end. That was about it. It was
Weepy
really
Omega.
pretty, and Omega made me cry. So I'll give it some credit.
She reminds me to take my my vitamins, my omega 3s.
Oh God!
wow.
Oh my God!
I almost said my meds, but I was like, they're not really meds; they're just vitamins.
That's it, guys. That's the show. Brittany's broken me with her.
Womp, 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 womp.
No, we'll let you know what our plans are for next season of Bad Batch. Probably not gonna do a review every week,
episode
but
by episode.
We'll figure it out. Let's get into our main topic of the day, and that is taking a look back on its 50th anniversary, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, a retrospective. Matt, this was your idea, so hit it. Your thoughts on this movie on 50 years, which is crazy.
I will say it's kind of funny because part of me kind of confuses the movie sometimes with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is the Johnny Depp movie, which yeah, I know. So it's part of me always calls it Charlie and the Chocolate, but that's not its name. It's Willy
But it
Wonka.
is the name of the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
So regarding this movie, first of all, the first like 40-ish minutes, I completely almost always push out of my mind. I forget about Charlie being in school and his teacher being a complete prick to him.
Such a prick.
Like, oh, how many chocolate bars have you opened? Buckets?
Two.
Well, I don't know how to do that. We'll make it 200. Such an idiot.
Class undismissed.
Yeah, class dismissed. Oh, but it's only 5 tickets.
So also, I wrote this down. The thing that I thought about is like Wonka's announced, like, does an Oompa Loompa come out to the podium and be like, we're putting out 5 golden tickets?
No, all of the
press
Oompa Loompa comes out and they do a song about it.
All the reporters are sitting there and they just all look at each other like, what the fuck is going on?
Loompa doopity doo. We
Fucking
have 5
Slugworth.
tickets to give to you.
I can't.
See, I just made a song.
But so obviously Gene Wilder completely makes this movie.
He's the only reason to watch it.
I mean,
I don't think that's true.
he's
great.
This movie is bright and colorful and imaginative, and Roald Dahl, the author of the book, hated it. That's something
Which is hilarious.
It is hilarious, which is funny because this movie has kept his book in the public's eye. I've never heard anybody discuss the book without this movie being brought up.
All I hear people discuss is the movie.
Yeah, I know, but that's where, and then it's like, all right, well, the book, there's a book.
They just discussed the tunnel scene, and that's about it. My mom saw me rewatching it, and she was like, I always thought this movie was creepy. And I was just like,
I mean, yeah.
It is.
It has its moments. It has its moments.
But yeah, the movie, I'm not going to say it's a perfect movie, but it is a classic movie.
It is.
Yes.
Rewatching it, like, and this is one of those movies that, like, you just randomly catch on TV all the time. So, like, I've watched it a lot in my life. But, like the effects for that time period are still, like, that had to be so wild to watch. Like, even with, like, having the kids shrink down, be in the TV, and, like, we can tell nowadays, like, how they did it. We're like, okay, well, this was a set, and then they took it from far away, and then they, like, you know, they traced him in on her hand and then dropped him down into the bag. But, like, seeing that in person back then, you had to been like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
Like, this is wild. All the little bits flying above their heads, all the computer graphics and stuff. But
better than Tron.
that being said, one of my favorite parts, like, I like that they do a lot of practical effects in this movie as well. And my favorite part, which is also a running joke in my family, is the part where he sits down, he drinks from a teacup, and then he bites the teacup. Because I'll tell you what, the first time I saw that movie, when he bit the teacup, it blew my fucking mind. I was like, no way, that was food too? And it's that childhood nostalgia always sticks with me. I wait for it every time he finishes the song, and it, like, drifts off slowly, and he keeps sipping it, and you're like, oh, it's a nice way to end a song. Then he's like, crunch, and you're like, what?
It's funny how once again, like, the first 40 minutes of this movie, there's no musical, no songs, and then all of a sudden, like, you go into the chocolate factory.
No, there's songs.
There's songs.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
there's
right.
songs.
There's Candyman. I forgot about that.
No.
There's a couple.
There's Candyman. His mom sings to him about him being so blue and not being able to win a ticket.
I've
the
got the
grandpa
golden
sings.
ticket.
Yeah,
Oh, Grandpa
There's,
Joe,
like,
the
4
ultimate
songs.
villain of the movie.
Dude, I literally have here, there's 2 different things I wrote down. Willy Wonka is a sarcastic icon, and 2, fuck Grandpa Joe. Okay? We will get to this. I have such
Brittany
a
and I were
fury
going into
about
this
Grandpa
hard.
Joe.
Please don't do that. Stop. Come back.
Yeah.
I fucking love
yeah.
Gene Wilder.
I do like that scene that when
His
they're
lines are
on
insane.
the machine that's, like, just spewing
Yeah.
stuff all over them. Everybody's freaking out. He's just like,
He's always singing stuff, and his random French and German he does too. Like,
Yes.
he does legit things in both languages, and it's just so funny because they're like, "What is he doing now? Speaking French?" He's like, "What does he say? Like, un voyage fantastique pour le bateau." Like,
Yeah.
it's time to get on, like, the boat, and you're like,
I'm a tad deaf in this ear. Could you speak up?
"Oh, dude, him with the TV kid every time. He's just like, why don't you open your mouth a little bit wider next time when you talk?" I'm sorry, what was that?
That's a filthy habit. I know a worse one.
Yep,
Yeah.
and she's like picking her nose. Oh my god, his
I
lines are so good.
do love this movie. My dad
Me
showed
too.
it to me a long time ago. It is a classic, and we watched this for the first time with Cecily this morning, and she loved it. She got a little antsy because her brother was being a pain in the ass near the end. It didn't.
How did
really
she handle
finish
the tunnel scene? I'll ask that.
Dude, are you ready for
Oh,
this?
kids are always fine with it.
Karen was like, "You might want to close your eyes for this part," and she was watching. She's like, "Mom, it's not scary. What are you talking about? That
That
wasn't
chicken
scary. I
gets
didn't
its
even
head
close
cut
my
off."
eyes."
What's the thing? It just gives it adult anxiety. It's the same
Right.
with, like, Coraline.
But I do love Gene Wilder. I will disagree with you to say that, like, he makes this movie because I feel like all of the kids are also so perfect in their little asshole roles.
Yeah, that's true.
That, like, I feel like you could probably still have the movie with Gene Wilder, not great kid actors, but they help sell
That's true.
Gene Wilder.
It's like how I always think I would never hit a child, and then you see Veruca Salt, and you're
and
just
you're
like,
just like, slap, bitch.
I'm like, would I hit a child? No, I would just be like, leave.
And
Leave my
and going
factory.
to your point about eating the cup, when Cecily saw that, she was like,
See?
it's
It
just
is
like
the
that
scene.
moment.
It is stuck
right?
throughout my life. I'm like, and then he bites the teacup.
But the funnest part about watching this movie with her is, like, she didn't quite get what was going on. Like, when they first walk into the room with, like, where everything is edible,
Yes.
and she's like, "Ew, like what? Why is, like, the water brown?" Like, the kids were saying, like,
Yeah.
"Why?" I was like, "Kiddo, that's a chocolate water." She's like, "What? That's chocolate?"
And they do the same thing. They're like, oh, you got a real water problem here.
Yeah. So I love that. My favorite is Violet. You're turning violet,
Violet.
I still can't get over that.
man.
I
Little
love
whistle.
that part. Yeah. Oh,
I just love all the lines he says. Like, he says some of, like, the most amazing, brilliant, sarcastic things to the kids. I wish I could just write down every moment, but there's just some shit that he says in the movie. I'm like, this is brilliant.
and then for whatever reason, like the wall of taste, the wallpaper
Yeah.
is like, I love that scene even though it's 2 seconds because I
Yeah.
just love it because the snozberries taste like snozberries.
What are Snallsberries?
Snallsberries? Who's ever heard of a
And then he's like,
Snallsberry?
we are the true magicians.
He like grabs her face too.
We are the dreamers of dreams. And he just walks away and you're like,
such a
this
weird
is fucking
moment.
astounding.
But I mean, and that is where you give so much credit to Gene Wilder, right? Because only Gene Wilder could like pull off that kind of like crazy, like, but you also understand it.
Yeah, like he's completely unhinged, and you still leave the movie at the end being like, was it all an act though for this test, or was he really that unhinged?
Oh no,
I know. Yeah, I believe he's completely unhinged, but like,
yeah,
it's incredible.
I know that you guys want to go off on Grandpa Joe, so I'm opening it up. Go off on Grandpa Joe.
So, all right, Grandpa Joe, he and 3 other people are laying in a bed together, you know, supposedly bedridden, can't get up and everything. The moment Charlie comes home with the golden ticket, Grandpa hops out of bed and starts singing about, like, I've got a golden ticket, which Charlie has it, bro, not you. He's the one who has the ticket, technically.
I know that, like, they did it probably as a metaphor to be like, if you
He's
actually
so happy.
get a lucky break in life and like money comes your way or certain things come your way, it can literally like help heal physical ailments, can do so much for your family. But like, Grandpa Joe is a piece of shit. My mom even says this, like, the fact that he lays in bed that whole time and like he only needed a little bit to get up and walk around and then he's like back to normal, perfectly able to walk. If you lay there and you let your family suffer, your grandchild has to do a paper route that doesn't even pay him enough to earn a goddamn chocolate bar to support your family. You are a piece of shit, sir. Like,
He
if
did
you
get
are
that
able-bodied,
delicious marshmallow sandwich, though, man.
it's one thing if you're not like, if he was actually older, like the other 2 don't get up, they're probably not able-bodied and not able to do it. And like,
one of them, I don't even know if he moves, actually. He might be dead.
yeah, they just sit there. But like the mom is like busting her ass, cleaning people's clothes. Like Charlie doesn't even buy the winning like ticket and the chocolate bar with money that they gave him. Like he found it on the street.
The fact that he's giving his fucking money to Grandpa Joe so he could buy cigarettes is like, you motherfucker.
But it's so true for like poor. And the thing is, this movie always makes me tear up at like specific scenes, and it's always because like he's so poor, and you feel for him, and you're like, oh. And then in the end, when Willy Wonka's like, I'm giving you the factory, and like, I tear every time when he's like in the elevator and he was like, you know what they said that happened to the man who got everything he wanted, and he's like, he lived happily ever after. I'm like, still getting choked up right now. But when he's like, and what about my family? He's like, the whole family can live here. Like, I'm so happy for him in that moment, even though it's absolutely insanity, the whole movie.
You know, just wait until your mother sees the Oompa Loompas, Charlie. She's going to have a lot of questions, but that's going to be your problem to answer.
Well,
now.
it's okay because they're not going to have to feed as many people, because the minute the other 2 bedridden people see the Oompa Loompas, they're just going to have heart attacks and die. So,
but I love
was
the
that
core,
too dark?
I love the core message of the movie, though, that like he purposely puts out the tickets there so that like it could be anybody's chance to get the tickets to get there. And then, of course, as always, it's 5 white people.
I was about to say,
4 of them are rich as fuck and only got it because they're rich as fuck and like their parents were able to buy copious amounts or use their leverage to get them somehow. And then you have like poor little Charlie who gets it out of luck.
Did they establish that Mike was wealthy? I thought, because I know in the new movie they said that he kind of figured out like the system and how to get one.
Yeah,
I can't remember if
the only 2 they don't show is like the car salesman one. So like Violet, she just said that she's addicted to gum, and then she decided to switch to chocolate for a bit, and her addiction of like buying so many
got her.
But still, her family would have had to be financially able to do that.
Yeah, used car salesman.
For Mike, it's the same way. Like he was just stuck watching TV all day, and then was like just eating chocolate.
Dude, that kid.
Poor Charlie. Anyway, it's the true underdog story. You love to see it.
But it's so good, and the songs are so good, and the visuals are so good, and the Oompa Loompas are so fucking weird yet wonderful. And they get completely hard done by in the stupid Johnny Depp film.
The
which
names of the
me.
monsters that supposedly eat them too are like borderline where you're just like, is this like dick jokes? Like some of the like they're like the horn nozzles and like this whatever. And I'm like,
I forget what the name.
I'm like,
was.
ooh, we're going from Dr. Seuss territory to something. I'm worried. Gene Wilder. Oh man.
Let's talk about this, guys, because this movie is 50 years old, right?
Which is wild.
It is wild.
Wilder,
actually.
Stop! I had a pun saved for later, and you ruined it.
Ha!
Not our fault.
We beat you.
No, I just should have used it.
So bad.
I should have used it in my first sentence.
You should have. It's true. 50 years old. Does Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory still hold up?
Yeah,
still does.
The fact that your daughter like enjoyed it is proof of that.
Yeah. I wasn't sure because she's still pretty much like on animation and can do some live action. Like, dude, she went and saw Black Widow. You know, we saw Jungle Cruise, which maybe was a bad idea in hindsight because that was a bad night. There's some scary moments in Jungle Cruise.
Oh, yikes.
But
to be fair, Black Widow is scary.
yeah, it is. And she sat down for literally more than 2/3 of this movie and was oohing and ahhing and asking questions. And
it's easy because she can relate to the kids in it and be like, what would happen if I was invited to a chocolate
Did
factory?
you see Karen's Facebook post, though?
Yeah, oh God.
Well, I didn't see that one.
Oh, yeah, her favorite character was Veruca Salt. I'm like,
of course.
you missed the whole point of the fucking movie, kid.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
I love the morals that the Oompas tell us.
She was a bad egg.
Oh, God, the bad
And
egg.
he was too.
The noise is great. Oh.
I just always love the fact that, like, he's like, well, that leads straight to the furnace. And he's like, well, that one's turned on every other day, so her chances are probably high. But, like, half these kids, I wouldn't be surprised if them and their parents were completely killed.
And he was just lying when he said they'll be returned back to normal.
Well, that's why Willy Wonka is like, I'm handing the factory over to you, Charlie.
Yeah.
So that way Charlie's going to answer to
the best
the
is the
court.
one when they go to stretch the TV kid with the Laffy Taffy whatever puller, and then he's like, what's that? And then the Oompa whispers in his ear, and he's like, no, I won't hold you accountable. Like, it basically, if it goes wrong and the kid dies, it's so great, and the mom passes out.
Oh, man.
It's iconic. There's such good dialogue.
As I said, Gene Wilder makes this movie for me. Like, I know the kids are good in their respective roles, but Wilder's just complete attitude about everything is just...
And the amount of memes that have come from it. Like, when he leans on the everlasting gobstopper, and it's like a split second, but you're like, this has become so meme-worthy.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. Wrong, sir. Wrong.
I have him on here.
His office with the half of every object.
Oh, so weird.
If I could show you a glimpse into my mind, it's this entire movie. Like, that's what my brain is like. So when I watch it, sometimes I'm like, wow, this is wild. And I'm like, this is how my brain functions, honestly.
So wait, instead of Oompa Loompa singing songs, do they just come up with puns for you, Brittany? And they come
honestly,
out?
yeah.
Oh, man. We keep talking about how Gene Wilder is absolutely amazing in this movie. He is an amazing actor. He's one of the all-time greats. Is this his best role?
That's hard.
Blazing Saddles.
Young Frankenstein.
Young
is so
Frankenstein.
Good in.
Like, Gene Wilder, people kind of forget for the most part, but like the 70s was pretty much a decade that he dominated comedy for the most part. So
he's just like really good at comedic timing, and like his delivery is so good. Even whether or not this was written in script or he ad-libbed some of the things, like the way he delivers some of his lines, like you fully believe all the time like what he's saying and how he's saying it. Like never once are you like doubting what Willy Wonka is in a way, I guess. Like when he says some of his sarcastic shit, you're like, I love this man. And then sometimes he's like singing and like humming and doing weird stuff, and he's like, when he gets crazy on the boat and he's just like, we don't know where we're going. When will they slow the rowing? And he's like screaming. And I'm just like, if you did this in a
danger must
booth,
be growing.
Yeah. And then she's just like, when is this going to stop? And he's like, oh, we're done. We're
done.
He's like, we're stopping now.
Yeah.
So good.
It's a tough call, honestly, because as like Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles, like he's fantastic in all those movies. So
do they always age well? No.
No.
But does he do a good job? Yeah.
The producers.
So I just got that movie a couple weeks ago. I still need to watch it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original.
Yeah. I watched a lot of his movies growing up. So
I still remember him. He was in a movie in the 80s with Richard Pryor called Hear No Evil, See No Evil.
Yes, he
I think I
was.
saw that one.
Yeah, where he played a deaf guy and Richard Pryor was blind.
Yeah.
I say this very hesitantly, but let's talk about the weird ass Johnny Depp remake, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The less said about this movie, the better, in my opinion. But what do you guys feel about this?
Johnny Depp was a terrible choice for a Willy Wonka because I kind of see what they were trying to do to a degree,
They were
but
Tim Burtoning it up.
yeah, they went too hard with Tim Burton. It just basically said, Tim, just be weird, just throw shit in there, man, without if it made sense or not. I didn't Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka. I didn't buy its authenticity for one moment. Like Gene Wilder, as Brittany said, like I don't doubt for a moment that what he's saying is like true in a way, like, oh yeah, you know,
You're like, there is this wild man in Europe who owns a chocolate factory that runs it exactly
yeah,
like
like, I could actually see like this crazy ass place. I could see this man running it and building it the way he did and all the other stuff. Johnny Depp's, I don't get that. He's a weirdo. He's like, he's almost like a Michael Jackson type character.
That is
where it's
how
like,
That's how he played it.
That's how he
yeah.
played it. That's how it was written. And
God,
I'm just going to interject
that
here
aged well.
because I have a lot of problems with this movie. Because of that, he's plays it very Michael Jackson. Listen, if you want to get right down to it, he plays this role like in a very like pedophilia type of way, and it's gross. Like, it is just really nasty, and it's hard to watch.
Luckily, I've only seen this movie once, and I largely forget it. Like, I just remember seeing it with my younger cousin, and I was like, that was really weird. And, like, it was around that time that Hollywood was trying to do certain remakes and reboots, but just, like, putting them in very weird directions.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, I was just like, oh, this is a Tim Burton one I'm not really feeling, so I'm not ever going to watch it again. And, you know, Hollywood, they can't resist a fucking remake of anything. Like, Johnny Depp probably played it how he was told to play it, and... He fully committed, but at the same time, you're just like, oof.
It was
like, I wonder if later on in life, if they're like, do you have any regrets? And you know, when like they make fun of that in Zombieland, where he's like, Garfield, maybe. Like, I feel like Johnny Depp would be like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have done Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like, it's just odd.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I don't see the remake. It's not worth it, and it is not a good homage to the original. Like Brittany said, Hollywood cannot help themselves. News broke a few months ago that Dune's Timothée Chalamet will be playing the man himself, Willy Wonka, in an origin tale. I mean, do we need this?
No.
Is this necessary?
No, it's you don't
need origins for everything.
Part of the magic of the Willy Wonka, at least the Gene Wilder, not the Johnny Depp, is you don't know where he came from. You don't know like what kind of I don't need to see his childhood with his dentist father like the Tim Burton one. I don't need to see that shit. Let me, the audience, fill in blanks in my own way. Like, all right,
did he just save the Oompa Loompas first, and then he had a staff, and it was like, you know what, we can make chocolate now. Like, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, like there's so many things that the movie doesn't explain, and that's something that a lot of modern movies sometimes don't always realize, that you don't have to explain every fucking thing about every character, about like,
it doesn't make it a plot hole.
Yeah, I mean, it's once again like it's not a huge deal to leave something to the imagination. I don't, and once again, how the joy of Willy Wonka is his quirky eccentricities. Like how is Timothée Chalamet going to do that in an origin story? I'm going to be watching a guy.
Be pre-Chocolate Factory?
Yeah, I'm going to be watching a guy become the character that I love, and I'm not interested in that.
I love that you, like, when you're going through the invention room in the movie, right? The fact that, like, he's like, oh, it needs more kick, and he throws shoes in. And, oh, it's too cold,
literally
he puts in a jacket. Like, and the part where it's like, is that alcohol, is it not? And he's just like, liquor is quicker. But, like, the fact that when he makes the everlasting gobstoppers, the machine is all hidden. It's like, you can kind of guess, is that a lever? Is that a pump? And they just come out. No explanation of how it's made. He even says it's way too difficult to explain. But, like, that's the fun part of it. You're just like, what if something like this existed? How would they even make it?
That machine,
everybody turns into a blueberry by the end.
The everlasting gobstopper machine always, to me, I thought of something like Dr. Seuss would have come up with.
Yeah, it's very Dr. Seussy, yeah.
So,
but like, that's the fun of it. And if like they're gonna break down how it all happens and where he gets the ideas from, it's like then there's no mystery to this man. There's no fun magic.
I picture if they go through with this movie, which I pray they don't. The end. I just picture the end of this movie, like Timothée Chalamet's Willy Wonka would be like, I need workers, and like I hear there's some people somewhere that need rescuing.
There's Loompa Land. He takes off in a fucking jet to go.
No, the glass elevator. He takes off in the glass elevator.
Oh my God. Willy Wonka Endgame.
The Willy Wonka cinematic universe.
Please God, don't make this movie. 2, if you do make this movie, I will not be seeing it.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. I learned my lesson from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
If they were to remake a movie like that, it's like you should do it more where it pays homage to the original.
Mm-hmm.
And they've done that with so many films where it's worked, you know? Like they did, Tron Legacy paid so much of an homage to the original one that you don't even need to watch the original one. And if they just would do it in like a loving way, it would work instead of trying all these different angles to make something new. It's like if you're going to do a remake or reboot, make it a remake or a reboot, you know?
And that's a great point, because if you look at the new Halloween movies, I don't like the new Jamie Lee Curtis ones, but I will tell you that Rob Zombie's first Halloween movie was literally a shot-for-shot remake of the original John Carpenter film, but it was done in such a loving way. That movie is so good.
Yeah,
and then the
sometimes
next
people
one
just
got
want-
really fucking weird. And
People just want an
whatever, but-
update to something
Yeah.
they already love, because like the visuals, they'll be like, after a certain point, unfortunately, people in certain generations aren't going to know who Gene Wilder is anymore. Like, they're not going to maybe not even see this movie, and then if you remake it lovingly, then it'll get them to watch the original one. I don't know.
Yep. Needless to say, we all have so much love for the original, and the fact that it's 50 years. I thought this movie was actually older, so I mean,
I only thought it was like 40 years old.
Yeah.
So when you said 50, I was like, ooh.
yeah, 50 years old,
Half a century old.
Yeah,
Makes sense though.
Let's rate this out of 5 Wonka bars, or whatever Wonka bar you want to rate it out of. A scrumdiddlyumptious.
Everlasting Gobstoppers.
Yep.
But then it would never end. Your rating would go on forever. It'd be like 0.3333. I give it a 4 out of 5 because it's a classic. The ending always makes me tear up. And, you know, Gene Wilder gets wilder by the second. That's where I wrote it, was in my ending, but you ruined it. So anyway, it was going to be so impactful here and caring. The only reason I don't give it 4 out of 5 is just because, like, some parts of it just don't
You mean a
age
5
well.
out of 5?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh.
The reason I don't give it the extra, like, 1 point is just, like, some of the parts in the beginning, like, when they're just finding the people that are winning the tickets and stuff, like, it's just, I'm like, Germans aren't like this. This is so bad. And I know it's campy and fun in some ways, but I'm just like,
His father
if this was
eats the
remade
goddamn
now-
microphone.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
like,
fucking
it's
hilarious.
like so ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be a classic. And it's one that if it, like I said, if it's on TV, I'm always going to watch it because I'm like, oh, here we go. What part are they at? Are they drinking the fizzy whatever the fucks? They got to burp.
You got to burp, Charlie.
I forget how long that scene is too. I'm like, just fucking burp already, man.
So I'll be a little more kinder, and I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5 Wonka bars, just because of Gene Wilder.
I always forget about 0.5s. You guys always remind me of that after the fact.
I mean, there's point anything. You could give it a 4.3.
Yeah, I think I gave something last
whatever.
time, a
4.21.
4.25 or something.
Yeah, I mean anything, but I'll give it a 4.5 just because Gene Wilder elevates this movie into
Yeah, he
another
does.
level.
Right through the glass ceiling.
That's right.
The Wonkavator.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. I fucking love this movie, and yeah, some of it doesn't hold up. But
as I said, it's not a perfect movie, but it's still a
it
classic.
One of
holds
my
a very
favorite
special
parts
place in my heart.
is when he goes Hushkanau, and she's like, "Is that Japanese?" He's like, "No, it's Wonka wash backwards." Like, that's the shit that cracks me up forever.
No,
it's an elevator. It's a
I can
Wonkavator.
get over some of the stuff that maybe doesn't age so well because I still think it's really funny. Like, is it a little kind of fucked up that they show the German kid eating sausage? Yes. Is it funny?
Well, I mean, they do
Yeah.
eat sausage.
They do eat sausage. It's true.
The fact that Gene Wilder also had like an awesome singing voice.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the dude
So good.
fucking
But
killed
listen,
it.
like all the songs are great too.
Yeah.
I mean, like Candyman's classic. You know, like I don't think
can
I
take
wanted
the
to say this
sunrise.
entire episode and forgot to say until now. Is like the only thing is like, man, you're giving away a lot of candy, dude. Like,
Why didn't Charlie go into the store, you dumb bastard?
Like,
He's just watching from the outside.
dude,
Man, I wish that were
times are
me.
tough during this movie.
like I think Mel is the name of the candy guy. He's just
Yeah.
throwing that shit everywhere. Like
and
Charlie
then he
just-
makes Charlie pay for his candy bar. Like, what's up with that, dude? Yeah, 5 out of 5.
he knows Charlie's poor.
He's like, "You poor kid.
Pay up. Give me that shilling.
Give me every penny."
Yeah. By the way, a lot of Americans in England.
No, that's the main thing I'm talking about. Like, even the sidekick, the kid that comes into the door, it's like completely like an American kid. And it's just like, he's giving away these chocolate bars. And then the teacher's like, "What? I'm super British. What the fuck? Class dismissed." And you're just like, "Where?
Class undismissed.
I know this is in Europe, but what the fuck is
I
going
mean, it's
on?"
straight up England.
I know.
This makes like no sense. Anyway, this movie's awesome. If you've
America.
never seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, you need to watch it. It's on HBO Max.
It is. That's where I watched it.
Yeah. Hit it up. Guys, that is going to do it for our episode this week. We have a very fun show for you playing next week.
Fuck Grandpa Joe.
Fuck Grandpa Joe. Matt, it's the return of...
God damn it! It's Raiders of the Bargain Bin.
Yeah, it is. And
Raiders
we
of
are going to be
Bargain.
watching Tom Cruise in The Mummy.
Talk about a remake / reboot.
Oh, God help us. And then this is going to be just if it comes out or not. If it does, we will 100% be breaking down the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer if it does come out. So obviously, wait and see. We are going to do Are You Still Watching? We will talk about the first 3 episodes of Marvel's What If on that show as well. So that's going to do it, guys. I hope you enjoyed a 50th anniversary look at Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and our finale review of The Bad Batch. We will see you next week for all of the fun. Good night.
You can find Everything is Permitted on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Everything is Permitted is produced by Rob Migliaccio, Nikki Veazey, and Geneva Stein-Shivers. Our executive producers are Michael Cox, Brittany Tomes and the Tomes family, and Julian Brown.